Hey YouTube, before I start this video, I just want to let everybody know in the next few days I'm going to be selling merch. I'm going to be selling t-shirts, coffee mugs, bumper stickers, etc, etc. So I just want to let you know I'm about to show you the logos that are going to be on the merch that you can pick from. But the app I'm using to make this video kind of cuts them off a little bit. So if you want to see the full pictures, go to my Instagram. You can also DM me on Instagram to get details like price, and we can go over shipping, etc. So yeah, here's the pictures. There's 3 of them. So remember, DM me on Instagram for more info. Here's picture number 1 right here. It's kind of cut off. Like I said, they're all kind of cut off, but this is picture number 1. Here's picture number 2. You can see the whole thing on my Instagram, but this little circle around it is actually a boa. So this is picture number 2, guys. And here's picture number 3. So go to my Instagram, DM me, look at the pictures, see what you want, and let me know. So here's the video. Hey YouTube. So today we're going to be talking about Dysecdysis in bearded dragons. Alright, so this is Vulcan, my leatherback bearded dragon. And before I get into the video, I want you to look at something real quick. Alright. You see those 2 toes right there that are kind of black? My camera is shitty at focusing, sorry, but it kind of focused. Well, those 2 toes were a product of Dysecdysis. I seen him at the pet store we got him from. We were just there looking, no intent to buy anything, because I normally don't buy from breeders or pet stores. I bought what I needed to from breeders, and now I breed my own normally. But I seen this little guy, and the reptile store had horrible husbandry, just like out of this world husbandry, and I hated to see this little guy go without treatment. He was just sitting in there, and the toes were horrible, and I said, you know what, I'm gonna buy him, I'm gonna take him home, I'm gonna get it fixed up, and I'm gonna correct it, and we're gonna see what we could do with this cute little guy. So I bought him, and now it's all pretty much cleared up. The toes are starting to go back to the color that they normally should be, but they're probably never gonna be just right. They're probably always going to be a little darker, but you know what? Oh well, at least he's in better health now. But one thing I will say, okay, is this. Dysecdysis, okay, first of all, what it is, it's the buildup of dead and dry skin in a place like, you know, where there's extremities like toes, feet, the tail. Okay, what happens is the body can't shed the skin properly. It stays, and then the next shed comes, and then that can't come off because there's already a layer of shed over it. So it keeps building up and building up and building up until it restricts the blood flow. And basically what happens is kind of like the same thing if we were to tie a string really tight around our arm. Eventually we would lose blood flow, it would start to get black and blue, and then eventually it'd probably fall off. Okay, so that's what happens with these guys. Okay, but here's the thing though, okay, it's not just as simple as it just falling off. Sometimes this can kill these animals. Okay, and another thing you need to know is it's not always a sign of bad husbandry practicing. Okay, really, it can be, and most of the time it is a sign that you are practicing some bad husbandry skills. But on another note, okay, it could also be an underlying factor of a bigger disease or a bigger virus. Okay, I know something that caught, like for example, one of the biggest causing factors of this, aside from bad husbandry practices, would be like parasites, like external, internal, just parasites in general can cause it. There's a long list of other things that can cause this besides bad husbandry practices, you know, besides that. Okay, so here's my advice to you. Okay, I don't always recommend bringing animals to vets because I don't like vets. I don't think they really know what they're doing most of the time, and I also think that they you know, overcharge and underwork most of the times. Okay, but if you don't know how to get rid of, you know, Dysecdysis, and if you can't, you know, diagnose where the issue started yourself, then bring it to a vet, because you could know how to clear up Dysecdysis, and if you didn't diagnose it right, it could be something else, and you could end up having a dead bearded dragon on your hands, and that's something you don't want. Okay, so basically, when I got this guy, I knew for a fact that it was the bad husbandry. Okay, I knew he had there was bad husbandry there. I knew that's what caused it because he looked healthy otherwise. He looked super healthy otherwise, and he just acted super healthy, and there didn't seem to be anything else wrong with him that I could diagnose. When I got him home, I started to work on it, got it to clear up with some proper husbandry practices, and keeping it nice and healthy, and it cleared up, and now it's fine. And I know it was the bad husbandry. Okay, if you don't know and you can't diagnose it, definitely bring them to a vet. Okay, but I'm gonna give you a few recommendations. Okay, if you want to bring your bearded dragon to a vet and you can't, all right, until you can bring him to the vet. You see how he's looking at me? He's looking at me like I'm an idiot. But anyways, if you can't bring them to the vet right away, make sure you're practicing some proper husbandry. First of all, this is the first thing you want to do, okay? Make sure the humidity is right. Do some research. Make sure the humidity is right. Make sure the temperature is right, okay? And also make sure you're giving enough baths. I knew somebody who only bathed their bearded dragon once a month, and I told them, listen, you shouldn't be doing that. They were over spraying the tank, which you also shouldn't do, and they were under bathing them, okay? At the least, I'd bathe my bearded dragon once a week, okay? A little bit more when there's obvious visible shed and a lot of it, okay? Give them more baths then. But I would bathe them once a week, spray the tanks once a day, okay? That's what I would do. That would be a proper husbandry for me. Make sure, you do some research and figure out what kind of husbandry you want to practice and make sure it's correct and that it's going to work, okay? But then I would take the extremity that has the Dysecdysis, whatever looks like it's bleeding, infected, or turning black, and take some honey. Make sure it's 100% honey, okay? I'm not going to show the label on this because I don't want to get sued by the owner of the company. But anyways, you take, and yes, I mean honey, you put on your food. Just make sure it's, real, okay? Make sure it's not, there's, no, like, I don't know, make sure it's, like, just real honey, I know there's probably some GMO fake honey out there. I haven't seen it, but just make sure you get good, real, quality honey so that way it doesn't, hurt your bearded dragon. And rub it around the extremity, okay? Make sure it's coated. And what this does is it acts as a band-aid, if you will, and it keeps it protected and keeps it, covered so it doesn't get dirty and it doesn't get infected. And it also will seal it up, and help with the bleeding, and it really works, okay? So I would do that. Rub some on every day, clean it off when you give them a bath, and then put more on after. And it really works, okay? And also, while this is healing, don't leave any feeder insects in the enclosure with the bearded dragon that are alive when you're not around and there to feed them, okay? Feed them, and if they don't eat any, take them out before you walk away, okay? And the reason why is because if you're feeding live feeders and they're not like freeze dried, which I'm pretty sure everybody feeds their beardies, live at least, a little bit, because I that's all I feed this guy. So make sure they're not in there with them when you're not there to observe it, because these bugs like crickets and mealworms, they will feed on dead parts of bodies. So they don't care if the rest of him is alive. If they smell the blood and they smell a rotting piece of body, they are going to start eating it. And the last thing you want is a bunch of bugs to be eating your bearded dragon alive, okay? So make sure you don't leave them in there with them unsupervised, okay? And then as soon as you can, bring them to the vet, okay? So with that being said, I hope you guys are practicing proper husbandry, and I hope you're looking out for these things. And, proper husbandry, as long as there's no other health issues with them, proper husbandry will almost always ensure that this never happens to them, okay? So make sure you're bathing them, properly. Make sure you're spraying the tank properly and not overdoing it. Make sure there's just all around make sure the humidity is correct, the heat is correct, and just make sure there's all around proper husbandry, okay? And that should ensure the health of your bearded dragon, okay? Because this does cause tail rot, toe rot, and can kill them, and you don't want that, okay? So make sure you're practicing proper husbandry. If you need help with husbandry for these guys, head over to my TikTok. I've done a lot of videos on proper husbandry for all my reptiles, and I'm going to be doing more videos for YouTube specifically instead of just the TikToks. I post my TikTok videos on YouTube, but I will be doing, you know, more videos specifically for you guys on YouTube, longer, more in-depth videos. So keep watching. And like I said, do some research. Make sure your beardies are getting proper husbandry, and this shouldn't happen, okay? But make sure you take care of it when it does happen, because it can hurt them severely, and it could mean a lot of other things, okay? We want healthy reptiles, not sick and dying reptiles, okay? So thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you guys have a good day, and don't forget to check out my merch on my Instagram that you'll see in the beginning of this video. So thanks for watching. Have a good day, guys.